Hello everybody, welcome to another week of Makers Monday. I am Anastasia Radloff, aka Stampin' Blondie, and I'm excited to create with you today featuring the Taco Fiesta stamp set. Now let me just make sure that I'm live here on Facebook. I'm also live over on my YouTube channel as well. So no matter where you're watching, make sure, comment, let me know that you're watching here today and where you're watching from. It's always fun to see where everybody is joining me each week. All right, looks like I am live on Facebook and YouTube, so perfect. Hi Courtney, hello Barb, hi Carol, thank you all for joining. Now, like I said, today we'll be featuring the Taco Fiesta stamp set. Now this was originally scheduled to be on my Makers Monday last month, but because the retirement list and the carryover list for Stampin' Up! Debuted last week, I was waiting to see what stamp sets were continuing on into the next annual catalog, and I didn't want to show you guys something that was on the retiring list, and then by the time I created it, it was sold out. So the good news is the Taco Fiesta stamp set is carrying over, which I am so thrilled about because it is my favorite set from the January to April mini catalog. So I'm very, very happy. Now let's go ahead and swap the camera. It looks like I've got Kansas City, Missouri, Minnesota, North Carolina. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you all had an amazing Easter weekend. It's just my husband and I. So we tried to do a little bit of Costco shopping yesterday, but they were closed. Then we went to Target and Target was closed. So then we just went to PetSmart and bought stuff for our dogs. So it was a good Sunday, Easter day for us. But Saturday I was working on my taxes and I am ready for tax season to be over with. But I hope you all had an amazing weekend. So let's go ahead and swap the camera and we'll go ahead. I've got quite a few announcements to go over. The first thing is I posted on my Facebook page earlier last week that my annual In Color Club has returned. Now, what exactly is the In Color Club? So each month from May through September, you'll receive all the items that are specific to one of our new In Colors. So one month you will receive all the products for Wild Wheat, the next for Boho Blue, and so on and so forth, so that at the end of September, you have all of the new products for all 5 of the In Colors. Now, I actually have my ink pads for the new In Colors. So we have Moody Mauve, Copper Clay, Wild Wheat, Boho Blue, and Pebbled Path. Now, I'm very excited for these colors. These are unlike any other colors that we currently have in our offering, and I'm really excited for these 5 colors for fall. They're gonna be perfect to pair with our crushed curries and cherry cobblers, and these are gonna go great for some fall projects. Now, what comes, I have a little list because I had to write down everything that comes in the In Color Club. So each month you'll receive a full package of cardstock, an ink pad, the ink refill, a full roll of textured ribbon, and a roll of jute twine, 1 Stampin' Write marker and 2 Stampin' Blends markers, 30 In Color dots, 8 pieces of 6x6 designer series paper, 4 pieces of 6x6 luster paper, and 5 treat bags. So that is a lot of stuff that you get in your kit each month. You'll also receive a surprise embellishment from me each month in your kit, as well as a hand stamped project using the featured project color of the month. So the In Color Club is a perfect way if you are wanting to budget your new In Color purchases over 5 months. I have demonstrators that do this club. I have customers that do this club. And like I said, it is a great way to be able to budget those purchases and have all those new supplies at the end of 5 months. Now, if you're wanting to know more about In Color Club, there is a link in the description of this video. I'll be taking registrations until the end of this month. I think the deadline is April 28th. So you have plenty of time. All you do right now is fill out the form. No payment will be taken until May. So you can sign up now and then you'll pay starting in May. So In Color Club is back. I know it is a customer favorite of mine to be able to budget those purchases. So all the details are on my website, stampinblondie.com, and you get a ton of stuff each month. All right, next up, speaking of the new catalog, I have it right here. So I have all my catalogs now. They came in the mail this past weekend. So if you have not placed an order with me in the last 6 months and you're wanting to get a copy of the catalog and you're not currently working with another demonstrator, there is a link in the description of this video where you can click to request a catalog for myself. Now in my catalogs, I'll have my class schedule for the next 4 months, including all the details about Makers Monday themes. And so this catalog, while I can't show you the inside just yet, this will start on May, I think it's May 2nd. Yes, May 2nd. There's the back. Isn't that beautiful right there? So this is the annual catalog. I'm really excited to dive into this for the next year and create some beautiful projects. So if you want a copy of that catalog for yourself, you haven't placed an order with me in the last 6 months, you're already on the list. You don't have to fill out that form. But if you want a copy of it, feel free to fill out the form and I will send you one later this month. All right, next up we have Stampin' Bingo. Now I have 1 spot left for the Tucson in-person event. Virtual is wide open. So if you have not registered for Stampin' Bingo, Saturday, I think it's Saturday, the 16th, Sunday. Sunday is the last day to register for Stampin' Bingo. In-person event is Saturday, April 29th here in Tucson, and then the virtual event is Sunday, April 30th at 1 p.m. Pacific time, and that is via Zoom. If you have not done Stampin' Bingo with me before, it is my customers' #1 favorite event that I host 4 times a year. And what we do is we play 7 rounds of bingo, and there's an exclusive card class after featuring our Makers Monday stamp set today, Taco Fiesta. So this Stampin' Bingo is going to be Fiesta Cinco de Mayo themed. All of our projects will feature Taco Fiesta. There'll be some fun goodies in your class packet for Cinco de Mayo themed. So all the details, again, link in the description of this video to register. I have a 1 Tucson seat left. So if you are wanting to attend in person, I highly suggest you register ASAP because it will sell out. Virtual, wide open. I don't have a class limit on that. So deadline to register is this coming Sunday. All right, the last thing, 2 more things. Don't forget, if you are wanting any of these retiring in core colors, now is the time to grab those items. A lot have already sold out. We talked about this last week and the week before. But if you are wanting ink pads, blends, cardstock, Stampin' Write markers, any kind of embellishments for these colors, just these ones right here. These are the new colors that are coming out. Just these colors right here. There are all the details on the Stampin' Up! Website about all of the retiring items. The list is very long. There's stamp sets, dies, punches, any other kind of items that you can think of, embellishments. They're all retiring, and some of them are 60% off. So definitely take a look at the website if you're looking for a great deal on some supplies, especially these items, because once they sell out, they will be gone. Courtney asked if there will be tequila at Stampin' Bingo. Maybe some non-alcoholic margaritas. The only time I like to serve alcohol is when I do a sip and stamp event. And that is at a local wine store. But I don't serve any alcohol at my events here at my house just because they can get a little rowdy and I don't want anybody to get hurt or anything. So no tequila, but maybe some non-alcoholic margaritas. All right. And the last thing today is Prize Patrol. So each week I do something called Prize Patrol, where all you have to do is share this video, comment that you shared, and you'll be entered into this week's Prize Patrol. So last week was the Into the Clouds embossing folder. This is a 6x6 embossing folder, so you have to use it with the big Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine. But our winner today is Penny Lyman, and I know she's watching because I see her comment there. So congratulations, Penny. I will pop this in the mail to you, but this is the Prize Patrol for last week. Now this week's Prize Patrol is what I'm dubbing a mega Prize Patrol. So this is a 3-part prize. The first is called the Wonderful World Designer Series paper, kind of upside down there. So this is a full package of designer series paper. Now this will be cut down to 6x6, just because it is much easier to ship a 6x6 than 12x12. So 6x6 first Prize Patrol. The second is the Coordinating Wonderful World stamp set. So this is a cling mount stamp set, meaning your traditional red rubber. And then our third Prize Patrol bundle for today is a amazing phrasing stamp set. This is photopolymer, meaning you're completely see-through and clear stamp. So this is our Prize Patrol for this week. You get all 3, whoever the winner is, but I'll call this the Wonderful World Mega Prize Patrol is our prize for this week. All right, let's go ahead and jump into our 3 projects today. We are featuring, like I mentioned, the Taco Fiesta stamp set. Now this is a $1 Million Achievers stamp set. So when you reach $1 million in sales, you get to attend a celebration at Stampin' Up! And design your own stamp set with their designers there. And this Taco Fiesta stamp set is one of my favorite, or actually my favorite, from the January to April mini catalog, because it has these little faces that you can put on them. So you can turn your taco into a face. You can do some funny faces. There's like a winking face, a mustache. So these are really fun to kind of mix and match and be able to bring these projects to life with Stampin' Blends. So our projects here today, our first project we're going to work on is this card here. Now this features the 2021-2023 in color glimmer paper. Now this glimmer paper, last night when I checked, it was still on the website. Normally was $12 for a package, but it is on discount. It's $4.80 for a package of this glimmer paper. Now the reason I love this glimmer paper is it does not flake glitter anywhere. Those of you that follow, you know my husband is active duty military. I have no glitter in my craft room. And so this glimmer paper is great because it doesn't flake off. This is Sweet Sorbet, one of those in colors from 21-24. And so that will be our first project. Our second project is this Holy Guacamole, It's Your Birthday card. Now, it's kind of hard to see. Let me tilt it. Back here, we have a set of 3 new embossing folders from our online exclusives. So I'll show you all 3 of those when we get to that project. And then this last one, Long Time No Taco. I love these little punny sentiments that go along with the taco, the guacamole. Very fun projects, and of course, bright and bold, right up my crafting alley. So let's go ahead and get started. Now don't forget, on my website each week, stampinblondie.com, I have my free project PDF tutorial. On here you have the item names, the item numbers, the prices, and the dimensions for the projects that we'll be creating here today. Now the items here that are highlighted are the ones that are discontinuing, and I did list their, if they're at a discount, the price on there for their discounted price. Now I also provide these projects in a weekly class to go. So if you don't want to cut the projects and you want me to cut them for you, so you can just put them together. If you place an order of $35 or more using the host code below, you can get these class projects sent to you for free. If you place an order of $50 or more, I'll throw in the embellishment of the week, which is the black and white gingham ribbon. This is carrying over to the new catalog, which I am very much a fan of. Black and white goes with everything, so it's perfect. All right, let's get started. Let me bring my things up here. And if you don't have the Taco Fiesta stamp set, you can get this and some glimmer paper and some adhesive, and then you'll be right at that $35 price point, and then you can get the class kits for free. Okay, let's see here. Our first project, like I said, uses that Sweet Sorbet cardstock. Now this is an easel card, 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. And all the dimensions are on that PDF tutorial, so you don't have to write anything down. You can just go to my website and print it right off. Okay, so we're gonna do some tone-on-tone paper today. We have Sweet Sorbet cardstock on a Sweet Sorbet cardstock. So we're gonna add this right down to the base here, right in the middle. There we go. That's crooked, of course. Oh no. Oh, there we go. I'm trying to use my Stamp and Seal more. I love multi-purpose liquid glue, but sometimes I just want it stick and done. So I'm trying to get in the habit of using Stamp and Seal more. Now I have a piece of that Sweet Sorbet glimmer paper, and this is just gonna go down the side of our card front here. Now I'm gonna leave just a little bit of space to show through that base there. And this is from the 6x6 Designer Series paper. This package is also on sale for $4.80. It is all the 21, 23 in colors. So, or sorry, 20, 22, no, 21, 23, 22, 24. I don't know. It's the whole in colors with Sweet Sorbet, Parakeet Party, all those. There's so many like back and forth. I don't know what colors families they're in anymore. Whatever this year is, add one more. So 22, 24, that's how I kind of remember. And we're just gonna put that right over top where that seam of glimmer paper meets our cardstock. So because glimmer paper is not as porous as the regular paper, it's just gonna take a few seconds to adhere. Now I did choose to use multi-purpose liquid glue just because the width of this paper is too wide for the Stamp and Seal. So that's why I chose to use the multi-purpose liquid glue, even though seconds ago I just said I was gonna try to use my Stamp and Seal more. All right, we're gonna place that off to the side and let that set. And we're gonna stamp our project here. So here's the card. It says, "You spice up my life." And we're gonna stamp 3 of these chilies and color them in with Stampin' Blends. Now, when you're working with Stampin' Blends, you want to use Tuxedo Black Memento ink. I have the saying stinky versus non-stinky. We are using Stampin' Blends, which are alcohol-based markers, so they tend to have a little bit of scent to them. Memento ink has no scent, so that's how you know stinky markers with non-stinky ink. And that is not a endorsement to huff your craft supplies. I want to say that every single time, just because I know there'd be somebody out there saying that, oh, well, you told me I could huff my craft supplies. No, it's not an endorsement. It's just you can smell it when you open it. All right, so I stamped 3 of the chilies kind of in a diagonal order. And while I have my memento open, I'm also going to stamp my sentiment that says, "You spice up my life." And that's just going to go right in the middle of this piece of Daffodil Delight cardstock. Now, Daffodil Delight, all of the colors that I'm using here today, except one on a separate card, these are all carrying over, so you can know that these colors will still be available. All right, because we're using Stampin' Blends, we want to make sure our workspace is covered. So I just have a spare piece of grid paper that I'm going to put down. Now, the colors that I'm using for my chilies are Poppy Parade, Daffodil Delight, Granny Apple Green, and Crumb Cake. And I'm going to use the dark Crumb Cake marker to color in the stems. Now, Stampin' Blends markers are meant to be blended together, hence the name Stampin' Blends. They differ from our Stampin' Write markers, as our Stampin' Write markers are the same ink as our ink pads. Stampin' Blends are alcohol-based markers, so they're a different formula from what's in our ink pads. I don't recommend coloring on your stamps with Stampin' Blends, but it is a way to create variations, highlights, and shadows. You can see it's best you can see it on the yellow and the green pepper to create these kind of shadows in your projects. So what I do is I like to start with the lighter color first, and then I go in with the darker and create my highlight and shadow. I love Stampin' Blends. I tend to not use my Stampin' Write markers anymore, but the new annual catalog, the Stampin' Write markers are being redesigned. So I haven't gotten any of those yet. I kind of want to see how they look first, but I'm excited because they have a different tip on one end now. So what I did is I took the dark Granny Apple Green, and you can see I just created a line in there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in with my light and just blend out that harsh line. So I want it to be still seen, but it kind of softens up the hardness of that line. So our dark daffodil, and then come in with the light and just color right over it to smooth out that line. Now, I will say I am not like a coloring master by any means, but I feel with Stampin' Blends, I get that kind of light, dark variation really well with these. And then just blend it out. And that's it. That's the easiest way to use Stampin' Blends, and then you have like that kind of variation. Now this one I could blend out more to get kind of that harsh line out, but you guys get the idea from what I'm making here. All right, so our card base, we are gonna add dimensionals to the back of this to pop that up. Here we go. Carol says, cute cards, thank you. I love this Taco Fiesta set. This is the second, I would guess class. Yeah, second class that I've done with Taco Fiesta at my spring creative retreat that I co-hosted with another Tucson demonstrator. We had a Taco Fiesta add-on class. And then Stampin' Bingo will be my third event with this stamp set because I just love it so much. Okay, our sentiment, you spice up my life. I'm going to cut the edges at an angle just with my scissors. And what I'm going to do is, because this is already stepped up with Stampin' Dimensionals, I'm only going to put a dimensional on the back of this side, and then the other side will be liquid glue. That's just to ensure that the it's not like stepped up 2 dimensionals, that it's just 1 and it's even all the way across. Okay, we're gonna add our black and white gingham ribbon. This is the embellishment of the week. And the best part about this is that you can change the color of it with Stampin' Blends. So if you wanted this to match your project with like Granny Apple Green or the Daffodil Delight, you could color this. Just make sure, again, your workspace is covered because it can bleed through the ribbon and get onto your desktop. So just make sure that you've got it covered when you color in the ribbon. It's a cute set. Do I think they will do dies? There's not any dies in the new annual catalog for it. I wish there was. Never say never though, because we had the it was it last Christmas catalog when we had the Yetis? There was no dies at the beginning for the Yetis, and then Stampin' Up! Did a promotion and they had dies to go with it. So never say never, because I never know if they're going to come out with something. And I will say, as a disclaimer, I don't know of anything special. So I don't know if they're going to come out with dies or anything, but they did in the past for that Yeti stamp set. So there could be dies in the future. You never know. I wish there was dies already, because I could cut out all these little guys without having to fussy cut them, but that's okay. All right, so I just added a couple of rhinestones on either side of the chilies, and this is the first project for Makers Monday today, featuring the Taco Fiesta stamp set. A fun project. Again, you could do this whole layout in yellow, green, red, whatever different color you want to do. But this is our first card here today with that fun ombre glimmer paper down the side. Yes, Veronica, I would love, love, love dies for this. I don't know, you know, sometimes they put out dies for stamps, sometimes they don't. I don't know how they pick which ones they're going to do. All right, our next project today is the Holy Guacamole, It's Your Birthday card. This is a fun little project. These little guacamole guys are so cute. And this is where we're gonna use that new embossing folder. So here is our kit this week. For this one, it is Parakeet Party. So a nice bright green for our projects here. And I chose Parakeet Party over like Old Olive, which would be the color for avocados, because I wanted to use a little darker green on the avocados here in the middle, just to make them stand out a little bit more. So we have our piece of Parakeet Party. This is 5.5 by 8.5. A piece of Parakeet Party Designer Series paper. Again, this package is on sale for $4.80. Basic white and a die cut. Now this is from, let me grab my paper. I have my fan on, so it kind of flew across the room. This is from the All That Dies. Now this is part of a bundle right now, but it is carrying over to the next catalog. So I wanted to, again, make sure that we had that. Now the dies, let me grab the other two. Now the embossing folders. These embossing folders don't actually have a name for each one. They are just called the, where is it at? The Basics 3D embossing folders. That's it. There's no individual name for each of these. So we are gonna use this kind of like bubble dot patterned embossing folder, but all three of these come in a bundle together. This one is like a star pattern, and then this one's kind of like just hashed, like crisscrossing. So these come all together. Now these are actually not in any of our publications. These are exclusively on our website, on our online exclusive section of the site. I think this morning when I checked, they're currently unavailable, but they are listed still on there, so they should be back in stock later on. So we are gonna use this kind of bubble wrap looking folder. If it had an official title, I would tell you the name, but it doesn't. Now, because these are the normal size embossing folders, we have to use our big Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Now, when you're embossing, these are 3D embossing folders. So right here on your platform, it tells you exactly what you need. You need plate number 1 and plate number 4, and that's it. So you'll put your items in here in a sandwich and run it through. These plates do come with the machine too. So I know somebody asked me that before. Do we have to buy the plates separate from the machine? Nope, it comes with all the plates that you need to die cut and emboss. Ugh. All right. Now I could have die cut or embossed that ahead of time, but I wanted to just to show you guys all 3 of the new embossing folders. So it's got that fun, I don't know, bubble wrap. I'm just gonna call it a bubble wrap folder because it doesn't have an official name. Okay, when I use embossing folders, I like to use my multi-purpose liquid glue. That is because it can get into the creases and crevices of that embossed folder and help it stick to the cardstock just a little bit better. So I'm gonna add that down to my card. Hi Peggy, I hope you're having a good evening. All right, again, our piece of Parakeet Party Designer Series paper, that is gonna go on with liquid glue as well. Now, even though we're not getting any crevices, we wanna get on top of the paper. Make sure that's in the middle. There we go. Now, I am gonna use, where did I put them? Here, we'll just use some of these to hold them down into place, just because with the paper being so bumpy, I just want to make sure that my paper will adhere, so I just added 2 clear blocks on there to help it stick a little bit better. Okay, our piece of basic white cardstock, we are going to stamp this little guacamole avocado guy, and we're going to use some of the little winky faces too. All right, and also, where do I have it? I know I have it here somewhere, right here. A piece of scratch basic white so that I can cut out the little hat that's on here. But let's stamp the avocado first. Because we're gonna be doing some random stamping, I just wanna make sure my workspace is covered. And where is my ink pad? Buried below all of my Stampin' Blends. So I purposely stamped 2 of the avocados in the middle, kind of close to each other so that I can color them. But the rest of them around the outside are just random stamps, so it doesn't really matter which way it's going. So I'm gonna stamp that guy in the middle here, that one there, and then the rest of them I can just kind of go around different ways all the way around. You know, I stamped that one too close. We're gonna flip it over and start again. There we go. That guy's there, there, and then the rest of these can just be random stamps all over. Yes, I am glad this stamp set is carrying over. I'm so happy. It is such a fun stamp set for Cinco de Mayo or summer with these bright colors. It pairs really well with springtime as well. So it's just kind of a really fun stamp set to work with. All right, we are gonna use our green, Granny Apple Green, and our crumb cake for the avocado. So the dark crumb cake I'm going to use to color the inside of the pit. Now you can see I have not stamped the faces on there yet. I have found when using this stamp set that if you color with the Stampin' Blends first and then you go back and stamp the faces, the face isn't faded, and it just seems to pop a little bit better once you stamp it after you use the Stampin' Blends. The outside of the avocado, I'm gonna use my dark Granny Apple Green, and I'm just gonna follow the lines here around the edge. And then in the middle, the light Granny Apple Green to color that in. Now with Stampin' Blends, they do tend to feather just a little bit on your paper, so you don't want to get too close to the line of what you're trying to stay within, because it will tend to spread just a little bit. All right, now that we have our avocados colored, now we're gonna come in and stamp the little faces. So this one is the winking face. So you can see right there. Oh, that guy's kind of hard to see. That guy's winking. It's a little teeny tiny wink. So that's gonna go there. And then this one is just a smiley face. And that'll go right there. So you can see, let me get it really close up there. You can see the winking face. Oh, out of focus. There we go. Winking face and smiley face. Now, because I also have my black open, we're gonna stamp the sentiment, and it says, "Holy guacamole, it's your birthday." I love guacamole. There's a couple places here. So I live in Tucson, and we have, you know, Mexican food everywhere. But there's a couple places around here that do like tableside guac. Oh, so good. I love guacamole. But it's funny because everything in guacamole by itself, I don't like. I don't like tomatoes. I don't like avocados. I don't like onions, cilantro. But when you combine them all together, that's just perfect. I know, it's weird. My husband thinks it's really funny. He's like, you don't like everything that's in guacamole but by itself, but you like it together. I'm like, yep. Just like salsa. I don't like everything in salsa by itself, but together, it's just so good. Okay, I have used Stampin' Dimensionals to take off, or to make our background pop. And that's gonna go right in the middle of our card. And our sentiment piece is gonna go down here at the bottom. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add one little dimensional there, and then some of that there. Guacamole is so good. Oh my gosh, maybe I just need to go eat some Mexican food for dinner. All right, this little hat we're going to cut out of a spare piece of cardstock. Let's find the stamp here. Where is the hat? Maybe he won't be getting a hat. Oh, there's the hat. So this is just a spare piece scratch paper. We all have white scratch paper. And then just stamped it and colored in. I'm gonna use the light red Poppy Parade and light Daffodil Delight to color in the hat. Make sure my workspace is covered. I don't want Stampin' Blends on my desk. And then this is very easy to color in and cut out. It's a little small, but it's very kind of like rounded, so very easy to cut this hat out. All right, does make you think tacos. I mean, you could have Taco Monday. You don't have to have Taco Tuesday. I could literally eat tacos every single day. Love them. That's one of the things I missed when I lived in Italy the most was Mexican food. There was no Mexican food for 4 years. I'm not going to say that I missed Italian food because I love Italian food still after living there. But sometimes you just want a good enchilada. Okay, this little hat I'm gonna glue on with multi-purpose liquid glue. So you just need a tiny little bit back there, and then stick it on one of the guys. And then as a final touch, we're gonna add some rhinestones. I'm just gonna add 2 in the upper left corner. And then our embellishment of the week, some of the black and white gingham ribbon. I love Taco Tuesday, me too. Gosh, Taco Tuesday. You guys are making me want tacos now. I could literally eat tacos every day. All right, and then snip the edges, and then we're gonna adhere this with mini glue dots. I find mini glue dots work best because you don't have to wait for anything to dry. And then right onto our card. And that is our second project today, featuring the Taco Fiesta stamp set. Fun. I love the little punny sentiment, holy guacamole, it's your birthday. And then the texture in the background from that embossing folder just makes it pop even more. So I hope you guys like that one too. All right, and our last project today, Long Time No Taco. Now this features Parakeet Party, Poppy Parade, Pumpkin Pie, Mango Melody. So that is a color that is retiring, and then Daffodil Delight. So we have our basic white cardstock for our background. 5.5 by 8.5 on that one. Hot sauce hotter in Arizona. Yes. So when you go to a Mexican restaurant here, they give you salsa, of course, you know, chips and salsa, but they have like the hot, and I think it's always hot, but you know, you ask for like the mild and they give you a look, but I need the mild salsa, or the medium at least. The hot can be too much for me sometimes. All right, we're gonna randomly stamp, just like our last project we did, we're gonna randomly stamp our tacos around the background. And we're gonna do this on Parakeet Party. I haven't used Parakeet Party in a while. I used it a lot when it first came out, and then, you know, I used some Granny Apple Green, and I was like, you know, even though I'm using Granny Apple Green with my Stampin' Blends, I'm gonna use Parakeet Party for my cardstock, just to make it pop a little bit more. Now, just randomly stamping wherever the stamp wants to land is what I'm doing for that. And then since I have my ink open, we're also gonna stamp a random taco on a piece of cardstock. That's so we can color and cut that out. And then we're also gonna do the sentiment that says long time no taco. Now this die set, let me make sure I'm telling you, is from the All That dies. So the same one as the first card we did with the circle. So that will work for this long time no taco. I may go off screen. I just wanna make sure I'm stamping right where I need to. And there we go. And we can put that away. Okay, our pieces of paper here. This project is great if you have a lot of scraps to use. I have tons of scraps. I try to keep as many as I can to reuse them for other projects. But this is great because you can use these strips of colored cardstock, and we all have these little scraps, and we're like, what are we gonna do with these? So this is perfect to be able to use all these kind of scraps up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring in my scratch paper, and I'm just gonna lay them across my cardstock first. I'm not going to glue anything down just yet because I wanna make sure that my spacing is good first. So we've got that Mango Melody and our Daffodil Delight. And then you can just kind of move it however you want and get it all lined up before you glue anything down. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna glue my Poppy Parade, and I'll show you kind of a trick for gluing the others after it. So that one goes down first, and then we can move these all out of the way. And instead of adding glue to these, like I did that first one, I'm just gonna take my glue and do a strip of glue right next to that one. That helps minimize getting glue too far off the edge of your paper, and then you can just butt that piece of cardstock right up to the first one, and you don't have to worry about having extra glue on the sides. All right, so our next one, Mango Melody. I was very sad to see this on the retiring list. And then Daffodil Delight. So we have a really bright kind of rainbow card here, which is really fun. All right, once you have everything glued down, you can flip it over, and I like to really press on the back to make it make sure it is stuck on there. And then you take your scissors and just trim around along the edge of your parakeet party, and that will make it all flush on the side here. So this is a great layout for Christmas time. If you have a lot of different reds and greens of cardstock or designer series paper, and you're like, what am I gonna do with all this? I just wanna get rid of it. You can cut strips and watch TV and just kind of glue them down. And this is a really fun layout for Christmas projects too. All right, on the back of that, we're gonna use our Stamp and Seal to adhere this to the card base. Go right in the middle. Our Long Time No Taco, that's gonna go on with Stampin' Dimensionals. And it's gonna go towards the bottom of our rainbow. Yes, bright colors, that's all I could envision using with this stamp set. I don't think I could use anything else but bright colors. All right, so we have our little taco here, and we're gonna use the yellow and green and red. So poppy, daffodil, and granny apple. So if you can see on the stamp, there's little kind of cloud, like beveled ones, and then there's ones that are complete semicircles. So the little beveled ones, I colored green to be lettuce. The ones that are semicircles are tomatoes. That's how I figure what is which. So with the granny apple green, I'm just coloring in, it's every other one on here to be my lettuce. And then the tomato here. And then with our light daffodil first, we're gonna color in the taco. And because this is like that bigger area, I'm using the brush end of our Stampin' Blends. I'm gonna come in with the darker, and where these little dots are, I'm just gonna kind of put a little bit of a shadow in right there. And then I'll come back in with my light and just smooth away those lines. So there you go, and that's how you have a kind of contrasted taco where you've got the little darker right there. And now we have that colored, we can stamp the little face on it. There we go. And fussy cut it out. Now this is one that I really wish there was dies for the taco, but it's still kind of semicircle and really easy to cut out. You can get as detailed as you want with the lettuce and the tomato. I just do a rough cut around it. I don't get super detailed with mine on this one. Now I like to leave a little bit of white space. I know some people when they fussy cut, they like to cut right on the black line, and that is perfectly fine too. But I like to leave just a little bit of white space to make it look like it was die cut. There we go. Now, just like one of our last projects, I'm gonna add a Stampin' Dimensional on one side, and then the other side, I'm gonna add just a little bit of liquid glue. And that just helps it be all the same level. Our black and white gingham ribbon. Tie that in a bow. And then we've got 3 of those rhinestones. Now I debated going back and forth between doing the rhinestones as the embellishment this week or the black and white gingham ribbon, but I think I just did rhinestones, plain rhinestones, a couple weeks ago. So I wanted to switch it up and do the black and white gingham ribbon, but this black and white ribbon, like I mentioned earlier, it goes with everything. I used it a lot at Christmas time. I colored it different colors and just had a lot of fun with this one. So it's a go-to ribbon that I like to use. All right, our little embellishments, just a couple little rhinestones up here and one over there. And that is our last card today, featuring the Taco Fiesta stamp set. This one is fun and easy, bright, bold, like I said, uses up those scraps that we all have in our craft room. I mean, we all have these little pieces and we're like, what are we gonna do with them? This is a great layout for those little scraps that you have. All right, so let me know today, oh, there's a fly in here, which one is your favorite? We have the Holy Guacamole, the Spice Up My Life, or the Long Time No Taco. So let me know which one is your favorite that I created with you here today. All right, well, thank you everybody for joining me for another week of Makers Monday. As a reminder, Sunday is the last day to register for Stampin' Bingo featuring the Taco Fiesta stamp set. If you are wanting to register for my In Color Club, the link is in the description of this video. And then also, don't forget, if you want to create these Makers Monday projects yourself, place a $35 order prior to shipping and tax using the host code that is listed below, and I will send you these Makers Mondays projects this week. I hope you guys have an amazing week.